In 1986, there was a true story about an uncle who was highly skilled in sacred chants and mystical powers. His greatest power was a magic called stone skin magic, which made his body impossible to cut or burn. Because of this, people called him Master Po Stone Skin. He also lived with a pair of spirit children who stayed by his side, and there was a female spirit with long, flowing hair. Even though he possessed powerful magic, he never used it to harm anyone. Instead, he always helped others. For example, when villagers lost their cows, he helped track down the thieves and return the cattle to their owners. In his personal life, he had a wife, but they had no children. During the Pol Pot era, his wife was killed, and from then on he lived alone until he eventually became ill. He once told his students, who came asking to learn his magic, that he did not want them to study it, because it involved 4 fierce guardian spirits that ordinary people could not control unless they strictly kept the 10 moral precepts. The 4 spirits were 1. The long-haired female spirit, ruler of the spirit clan, 2. The 2 spirit children who lived with him, 3. The spirit inside the water jar he cared for, and 4. The spirit that dwelt in the central roof beam of the house. All of these spirits were powerful and dangerous. He warned his students not to pursue the same magic, because it was difficult to control, and could even turn against its master, especially the stone skin magic. Furthermore, the uncle would never allow people without honesty or moral discipline to learn his magic. Anyone who was greedy, jealous, or selfish was forbidden from studying under him. He lived this way until his death in 1993. When he passed away, the villagers held a funeral and cremation ceremony. However, during the cremation, parts of his body would not burn. 6 areas remained only slightly scorched, including the skin on his back, the palms of his hands, the skin on his throat, the skin near the lower spine, the skin around the anal area, and the skin on his head. When the master in charge of the ceremony saw this, he examined the body and realized that the uncle still carried stone skin magic on his body, sacred Khmer script and mantras that had been tattooed into his skin. Because of this, the master ordered that the remaining skin and ashes be gathered and buried completely in the grave. Afterward, the uncle's spirit began to appear, frightening people. Villagers who passed by the cemetery said they saw him sitting on his grave, hugging his knees, with hair blowing like burnt strands, his body glowing yellow, and his eyes shining wide. Anyone who saw him would immediately run away. People in the village said that when he was alive, the uncle had raised and cared for many spirits, so when he died, those spirits came back to him. Others believed it happened because the funeral rites were incomplete. Later, one of his former students went to visit his house after his death. At first, he heard footsteps walking across the roof. He climbed up to look, but when he came back down, he suddenly saw someone sitting on the stairs with their legs dangling over the steps. The teacher's student said that his spirit could wander and might go somewhere he wished. He wanted someone to perform a ritual to summon his soul, but because of the power of the teacher's magic incantations while he was alive, since he was very skilled, the teacher's spirit entered the body of a 14-year-old boy. The boy walked into the village, pointed at people, and said that the spirit in his house was a wild, long-haired ghost that had already run out beyond the boundary of the sacred grounds. The teacher said he could no longer restrain that spirit. If he were still alive, he could have done it. But now that he was dead, he could only say this. And then the boy collapsed to the ground, as if the spirit had left his body. After that, the person who came to summon the long-haired ghost's spirit was the teacher's student from Pursat province, who called the spirit back into the sacred area. The student succeeded in summoning it, but he said that the spirit had to be taken to the forest and not allowed to remain in the village because he was afraid it would harm the villagers. So he brought it into the forest, and after that everything became quiet. Both the teacher's spirit and the ghost disappeared, and there was peace.